she might, but anyways, I really don't know anything about her. Ekoro. I want to continue to call Eroka for the rest of my days because I find it funny. And it's also, again, literally, okay, because it literally means, Ero means erotic, you know, porn, not porn, but like more sexy. I think that would be the word. Lewd is a better word to define this, actually, kinda, depending on the situation, but lewd would be the correct way to say it. Ko means like child, like kodomo, but like I'm trying to remember some names that have ko in the end, but I don't remember. But because ko actually means like the way they refer like child and stuff, like we put ko in the end after something, and it was basically referring to a child. It's something like that. I don't remember. And that's why I thought her name was Eroko, because it would make sense. But they didn't want it to make it that, like, apparently, so they didn't do it like that. By the way, she had like a heart, like not a heart, like a arrow, lovely arrow attack. And if you charge attack and hit the enemy as a last shot with her, he becomes like a partner, and he's going to shoot periodically. Basically, that's her charge attack. And as you can see on the side things, you have just shoot, charge, that follows you, and you also have the, I think, yeah, you can dive in. I think you can block damage, I don't remember, but she also have a little hover. That isn't that useful. I think you have to have, yeah, 4 shots, so just this, goddamn. It's weird because she's kind of like, I never thought about that before now, but she's kind of like playing as Axel in Pokemon X, because she has like a gun and she floats like Axel in Pokemon X8, and she also have an attack that is influenced by the character that you will fight against, and you have to kind of like do the last shot with said character, the last shot has to be a charge shot, and the charge shot itself is not that powerful. In this game it's more powerful, but it's not as powerful. Wait a minute. Yeah, I was checking to see. Yeah, my mic is actually on. Yep. I literally have no indicator that thing is in recording because it's close to my mouth, kinda. Not that much. And that's an airplane. Love airplanes. Oh cool, I just lost a partner. It's not that important actually, because it's like, oh good, I completely missed it. I think I can befriend the weapons or something, maybe? And I kinda, oh no, did I shoot him with, oh yeah, if I charge shot and release it, he's going to just fly. The thing will basically sacrifice the guy. Let me just check and see. Yep, if you shoot him, I think just 2 charge shots, he already becomes like your partner. Let me test that with another thing. 1, okay. No, you just need to hit him once, so it's not as bad as Axel, which is good. Because Axel is actually a cool character, but in Pokemon X8 he was kinda like useless. Not useless because he's not fun to play, he's useless because his different attack is worse than playing as X, so when you warlock an X, you just use X instead of Axel. Except, I think his sub-weapons actually had ammunition. Because I remember in one of the games he didn't have, and that was, I think it was 8, that made the character way better. And I'm not very good at first, so... But I can do this, so it's better, kinda. And the guy isn't really helping that much. Oh, that actually helped a lot. I shouldn't be trying to do that way. Because I was trying to kind of like float, but I'm not very good at. Yeah, I think maybe like that. Okay. I'm trying to find a position for it to... Yep, it helped. It not helped. It actually helps. I said help because I read on the thing that I was like, oh, it's wrong. And that, yes. It's pretty simple. The problem is her special super attack only works in normal enemies. Even though the other characters doesn't really have any kind of special thing with charge. Only Gunvolt, but even then isn't that useful. So yeah. Okay, just sorry. I'm kinda gassy, burpy. I don't know. I'm kinda burping a little bit. Don't really know why. I think it's because I drink a lot of water before. Yes, I knew it. Oh yeah, her fault can only do once. I don't know why I want to burp so much right now, but her flow doesn't work like I'm floating then I stop. It actually, if you press it once, you have to hold it or else it's just going to fall. And even though I'm holding all the time, she has a limited amount of time to float. Kinda like, yeah, exactly like yeah, exactly like Axel. And I completely forgot about that and just pressed the button a bunch. Why not? Good. Here, nope, nothing. I always forget where most of the things are. Actually, I remember, but I'm like, not worth it. But then when I need it, and just like it's not even a heart, it's just it can be. But this is basically a game made into like in a good way to make a nostalgia type of game. They use like nostalgic elements because they use the special attacks for each game in a different way to make each character unique. The game itself is created in a way that it's simple enough that it can look and feel like a old NES game. And the graphics, that was another thing too. I think, oh yeah, the mechanics, the enemies and stuff, they are easier than the NES game because the NES games are very, not exactly difficult, but punishing. I would say they're not that difficult because usually for something to be really difficult to me, it had to be like something that's more kind of like unfair, or that means a lot of like reflection. Where most Pokemon games doesn't really demand that, they're just difficult because you have to get used to the controls. At least in my opinion. Because most of them are pretty simple and still in the like enemy designs and stuff. You just have not exactly memorize, but I was going to say not exactly memorize, but remember. No, exactly. You have to memorize, but isn't the main thing. You have to be good at reacting and understand pattern. Because most Pokemon games have this thing that most games actually this thing that they have a pattern. And if you understand the pattern, you can kind of like play a new section of the game without actually knowing how the section is. Just because it's definitely going to follow the pattern. For example, a puzzle game, for example, Biohazard, I think it was Code Veronica. Yeah, Code Veronica. The first time that I played, I had to look up a guide because I didn't know you could actually move the box and the items, to like move them to see how they are and stuff. And after discovering this, I found out that some puzzles were actually based on it. So when I found out that, it was easier for me to continue playing the game. But before that I didn't. That's one thing that I usually have a problem with puzzle games. I usually have to understand like the default way that creators made to finish the game. Not finish the game, to understand the puzzle. I usually have to know a lot because if I've never noticed that a lot of puzzle games have a pattern to them. They always work one specific way. Actually, not exactly. The puzzles have one way they usually do, like a base that the puzzles are going to be kind of like basic, but not exactly. For example, in Code Veronica, a lot of puzzles are just finding codes, but they also are like looking at the items in different ways. Because I have only played the 3 before that, 3 and 4 I didn't know about this mechanic, so I didn't know how to solve those puzzles. But then You just realize that even Marvel puzzles themselves are usually just like, oh, you have a book or something with a code and you have to either decipher by looking at the code, at the like the items, not the items, but like the icons and stuff, or you have to find a date or a specific code that you can, those numbers that you can use it directly in the thing to solve set puzzle. You know, it's pretty simple the way puzzles are created after you realize how they work. But even enemies in games, for example, in Zelda games, it's very simple to understand that, because in Zelda games you just understand that, oh yeah, by the way, if you hold charge shot with her on the stairs, she doesn't go up or down. I'm pressing buttons. She's not going up or down. You actually have to be outside of the scene. Well, in the time, the multiplier, they actually have a kind of a timer on them. But anyways, in Zelda games, if you have ever played a Zelda game, you know that they work like this. You get a new item in a dungeon, and you have to use the item to defeat the boss or solve a puzzle. And it's like this throughout most of the... Actually, every Zelda is like that, so you know how to solve the puzzle just by getting the new item. You just have to find like the way the creator made... the way creators intended for you to use the item in that specific situation. It's pretty simple. And it's actually pretty fun to kind of like understand the way some developers make the game. Some of them are very repetitive in the way they create the gameplay. It's still fun to do. What the f— okay, was the minus. I heard a little weird sound. I was like, what the fuck is that? Again, I was going to say that, but third time. This is the actually fourth, if I'm not wrong. This stage is basically in Gunvolt. One of the, I want to say, yeah, one of the most fun stages. And this guy, I don't know if I find this guy like, not exactly fun, but like cool because he's actually cool, or because he's kind of like halfway off this game. Both in stage design and in both stage design and battle, because for some reason this direction makes me think a little bit of halfway. Can I just shoot those things? Yep, I can. Took me, what, 5 playthroughs? Actually 6, because I played this game before with every single character. 6 playthroughs to actually realize that I could just shoot those things cool. I don't know what the heck it's going to do now. Okay. It's simpler than I would expect, but yep, this one. Die, god damn it. I want to die for once just to see how her animation is. Yes, I'm going to do next. I'm going to do that next stage. Sorry, English is not my first language, so it's probably going to be difficult to understand. Oh yeah, by the way, when I start talking, just start talking non-stop, because I'm kind of like that. Yeah. I have the problem of like, oh, nobody's saying anything, let me just say whatever just to try to like you know, start a conversation, but never really works. So I kind of developed a little thing that I'm talking with myself a lot. That's exactly why I'm doing this right now. Mostly because I was just going to play this game again anyway. I was like, never really using the scene stuff, never recorded. Actually, I recorded stuff with things. No, never did something like that. So just as an excuse for it not to say just I'm just playing the game for nothing. At least I'm actually recording and doing something with it, even though it's literally for nobody. Just for me. In another way, it's just practice English, because I literally by now have nobody that really actually people I know that actually know English. The problem is they don't like talking. Oh, I missed it completely hard. I didn't need it. Next boss I'm going to die. Should I die right now? I just want to see her death animation. Oh no, I should die before the boss, because if I die during the boss, I'm going to lose the ability to have a little partner. Even though it's not that important. Oh cool. Thanks, man. I really want you to kill people right now. Oh, that was so cool. I completely forgot. Actually, I didn't forgot. I was actually expecting to hit something when I left the thing. It didn't thought it was going to be that perfect. Yeah, now in the beginning of the stage. I get that really fast. This is vaguely like, because the problem with this stage, those little machines that close, those little doors, they are actually from the first stage. As I think it's only the first stage of Gunvolt, but I think the lower part is also kind of like in the first stage, but the fire guy using, it's kind of confusing. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something that I didn't notice up until right now. Again, the stages, they have different order depending on the character they are playing with. I knew that, I just completely forgot when I started Peck, even though I call him Mighty all the time. I'm trying to remember Peck, but I prefer calling him Mighty. Sounds cooler to me. I love when you charge, she's like, I have the power, holding the gun. And it actually glows a lot. I really like the design of this game. I like indie crates a lot. Probably from the quote-unquote Japanese indies, because they are not exactly indie, but they are treated as indie developers. And they are my favorites. They are if I'm not 100% wrong, they are ex-Capcom developers that they just created a new thing, and they were kind of like focus on doing retro stuff, and Capcom just hired them to make Pokemon games, the Zero and Six series, and because of that occasion of whatever, continue to be involved with them up until Mario number 9, because they were the ones who made Mario number 9. And technically, I really don't know who owns the rights for Mario number 9, because technically it should be like KG, but the ones who made the game were them. And also if you think about it, they have 3 games with Peck, and the Mighty for the Mario number 9, or the Mighty guys. They have this one, they have Mario number 9, and they also have this one, Mario number 9, and the second one, which is Gunvolt Burst, which I didn't buy yet because I found out that the game is on sale. But if I was going to buy all the extra characters, I would literally have to pay double of the thing that I was going to pay for the game. I think the game would be like 400 yen, but each DLC would be 500. So there are 2, and you can play. When you can play with other characters. I think it's just reskin. I don't know. I don't think it is just reskin. Looks like it at some points, but it doesn't feel like when I saw the trailer. So don't know. Depending on the game, actually do. That's the thing that I do with I completely forgot those things with the struggle that I do when I have like PlayStation Plus or game on PlayStation Plus, and I like the game. I buy the DLC, no problem. I did the secret. What games that I really are gonna play them with the PS Plus? Was they within the? No, I didn't bought the DLC in the other one. I bought the second game, which was Sonic Adventure. Even though then I realized that they were DLC that make the game Sonic Adventure DX. And the DLC was just you play with Metal Sonic, I think. I know you can play with Metal Sonic, but then I think you can play every stage with Metal Sonic. I don't know 100% everything, but I know that you just get a new character. I want that, but my PS3 is not exactly working, so I cannot do it. And I found funny that I was like 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, that they gave the Sonic Adventure. We're like, oh, okay, they're probably going to give Sonic Adventure 2 next month. and they didn't. But this time, when I think it was 2 months ago, when they gave the Sonic Adventure, the next month they gave Sonic Adventure 2, which is curious. Also, they, for some reason, there are some games that go to platform, like PlayStation 4, 3 and Vita, but they are not giving the PlayStation 4 and Vita versions, only the PlayStation 3. And I think it is because of the whole Sony trying to be Puritan and anti-sex and stuff, because it's, I know that sounds weird, yeah, it's the only real way to say this, but they had new community guidelines that basically forbid the release of HE games in Sony consoles, which is going to, I would say, lower 20%, 25% of the player base, because a lot of people only had a PlayStation 3 on the last generation and only got a PlayStation 4 because of like anime and HE games. I know that because I know a bunch of people that are like that. They only bought a PlayStation 3 because of the anime games. I'm definitely one of those. This and the fact that I don't really like Microsoft, and at the time you had to choose between like PlayStation 3 and Wii, and because PlayStation 3 I would have like Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden and a bunch of other games, and Wii I would have only like maybe Zelda and Mario games for me to play, so I decided for PlayStation 3. Yeah. I don't really regret it, because at least on the PlayStation 3 case I have some of my favorite games ever, like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, basically the entirety of the Metal Gear franchise. No, actually the entirety, because the only ones that were not released in the collection were the ones for the ones that were not developed by Konami, because even though they have, I think, 2 old schools Metal Gear, I almost said Ninja Gaiden, Metal Gear games, which were the one and then Solid Snake, and those 2 are inside of the HD version of Metal Gear 3, yeah, 3, and because of that you can just play those games. I never really played them. I found them fun, but it's just like I'm not really interested at the time, and now I completely can't. And they, in the PlayStation 3 actually have every Metal Gear for the PlayStation 3 except 5, because 1, I don't remember if 5 was released for PlayStation 3, and I don't find 5 to be a good game anyway, so it's not exactly a loss to me. But I have Rising Revengeance. I don't have the PSP ones, only Peace Walker, because it was the one released on PlayStation 3. Also, another game that is some of my favorites are Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry 4. Like the collection 1, 2, and 3 for Devil May Cry, I have the PlayStation 3 version, and I actually I'm considering buying it on the PlayStation 4 just because I want to replay them again, including 2. I don't find fun because of the Devil Trigger is really OP. When you play with it, it's ridiculous. It's like what makes it fun. So because you just activate the Devil Trigger and do one hit, and all of a sudden you just kill an enemy. It's really ridiculous, but it's fun to me at least. Oh cool, I completely forgot about the charge shot. Yeah, those things are, yeah, destructible. The butterfly that I got the last stage was actually last time was actually the thing. I don't know if we're going to be able to see the last time, because I have to do something with the video before I be able to publish it again. And then I found out that you cannot edit the live stream on YouTube at all. I think I tried it, I could not. So I like the fact you can float with her. Each character is very unique, and by the first time I actually started to realize something. If you think about that, 3 characters, and Rookman like 7 and 8 they have 3 characters, and each character is unique. And if you see like the logic of Rookman, those Rookmans, you will realize something really simple. Gunvolt can be compared to Zero. Her can be compared to Axel, even though she doesn't have a machine gun type pistol, which is weird. Oh, cool, awesome. I completely forgot how to fight her. She have like a pistol when they have some properties that looks like Axel, like I was saying at the beginning, and you have one that's basically X. Even though you don't have that, you actually have the dash. Yeah, it's kind of like similar. And by the way, the Gunvolt thing being like similar to Zero is in relation to his charge attack, because his charge attack is actually, god damn it, his charge attack is, oh cool, his charge attack is like, you have to hit him close to you instead of just hitting the enemy at distance, you know, like the one he holds his hand forward and he throws electricity in front of him. It's cool. It's not that useful, it's just cool looking. I look at my thing and I was like, it's not recording my audio with it, but it is. I just hate that you don't really have anything on the screen that shows you that you are kind of recording with the person form. You can put it, but I don't like because it's just like covers a lot of the screen. I could just put it and then just put in the thing and edit out it. I don't know. Probably going to do it in that thing. Because it looks weird as fuck, man. Would be better if you could like change the pattern and stuff. That's the thing that I kinda hate about Sony and like the things that they put in the new consoles. They just put like some gimmick things and they never actually find a way to improve them or to put them correctly. Or even like give them support. They just like, oh, nobody is using, so fuck it. For example, Vita, you have like Vita in general, but like the touchscreen and the sensor and stuff, games just completely stopped using them. I'm playing Danganronpa, another story. There is only one part of the game, that's when the girl is being tortured, that you have to protect her. That's the only part in the entire game by now, and I'm like in the last chapter. That is the only part in the game that I have to use the touchpad, and even then you could just took the unlock stick and then start rolling it and just step in a circle and just going to do basically the exact same effect. They are fun mini games, yes, but it's just like one. You know, they don't really use the stuff on the screen. It's not even, I don't really think that's that bad, because I don't think the developers should be forced to be using like a new gimmick just because it's a gimmick of the console, like sometimes Nintendo does. I don't know if Nintendo does that third parties, but they do a lot of like developers for their IPs. Even when it's third party, they force the developers to create something specifically because they wanted to I don't know, to evoke some kind of nostalgia or something. For example, in Metroid Other, they forced the developers to use the control in a weird way, which made the game worse. Apparently, never played it, but kind of like Nintendo is good at like creating things and make them work and supporting them for years, but sometimes they kind of like have bad decisions that ends up making the thing kind of gimmick. In developing, they are very good at making the motion controls like games that are based around the motion controls and they look like they are kind of like interesting to play and everything, even though I barely have played any of them. God damn it, I was 100% sure I was going to win that time, but they're good at doing it. Problem with Sony is they created one or two games that are really good at using the gimmicks, but they just stopped using them. One good example of this is Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush actually uses the PS2 Vita a lot, but then you just have almost no games using it. I think Terraria, I don't know, the one that have like a weird paper guy, he's very good at, apparently very good at using the cutscene and stuff. One that I played a lot, I used it basically because it was a gacha game, but used it in one minigame. Was actually gacha games in general are kind of good to be done in virtual video because you can just touch on the screen instead of selecting it. It's cool, even though I'm completely against gacha. I'm not exactly against, I just don't like the way gacha games are. I like the gameplay of gacha games, even though gacha games basically don't have gameplay. I like the logic and the stuff that will to playing a gacha game, like the creation of the cards, the getting new cards, the evolution, I like that aspect, but I don't like the way they are so predatory towards players. And the game that made me completely give up on those things was, or is actually Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. I played the game for about 1 year and just like it's not worth it. But anyways, the game that I used it to play was High School DD something, I don't remember the name. For I think it was New Wave, like the one for Seinen Kagura, but it's not the Seinen Kagura one. Because Seinen Kagura New Wave is for cell phones and a bunch of like actually cell phones would buy a bunch of types of different media games. In Japan it's confusing because imagine like if Steam was a browser thing and all the other ones were like based on browsers and you had to download on your cell phone to be able to play it, but the thing was actually just in a browser instead of they didn't even play, just play like a browser and you play like it was in the thing. That's kind of like how it works for some games, like mobile game. Literally means mobile games. Wait a second, I have to drink a little bit of water because I'm talking a lot. Another plane, log planes. Actually, don't mind that much. God damn it, I don't like those ones. I thought I had killed him, but didn't. Him? Yeah, him. I always forget that them can be used as a... No, they can be used as a... I think them can be used as a single but an unidentifiable one. I forgot. Because my first language have a lot of things that are kind of similar to English, but which is different. It's like, oh, okay, that's like one or two different details that are very different, but the problem with those one or two details that are very different, they are incredibly fucking confusing when you do them by the first time or when you're trying to remember verbs and stuff. Learning a new language is kind of difficult in general because you have to relearn how to talk, but I think one of the biggest problems isn't even the part that you have completely different rules, is when the rules are similar, but they are so similar that it kind of gets confusing when used one or another. No, like I just said right now, but yeah, don't know. It's because I know that I'm getting close to the end of the game because I don't have two bosses to fight, and because I know that sometimes I just start talking and I realize the thing is ending, and then I'm like, okay, I don't have any. I mean, let's finish what I'm talking right now. Sorry, and not start a new conversation with myself, basically. This boss is simple. I think if they just make your damage like. Actually, if you took more damage in this game, and yeah, just make you taking more damage in this game, basically you're making a old school NES game, because you would die really fast, really pretty simple. It's kind of like a Ninja Gaiden, but the difference is Ninja Gaiden have a lot of enemies on the screen. It's not that difficult, it's just that it's very easy for you to just get like overwhelmed by enemies. It's kinda like Demon Souls. That's one of the reasons why Demon Souls and the Soul series in general is considered a old school type game. Not just because of the mechanics, but because the game is created in the way you have to play the game too. Oh cool, I can do just this. I didn't thought about that. That music is kind of weird. God damn it! I have to press this X correctly because kind of like okay. Okay, god damn, because I'm trying to do a thing but I'm not exactly trying to pay attention if I should jump or not. I didn't have any problem fighting against this guy the last time. Yeah, with back, but if Gunvolt actually had a little bit of problems. Mostly because I was trying to remember his pattern there. There's only the one that shoots things, yep. Cool, now in the middle, and I can just tank it. Cool, killed it, yay, again, and look like he's in his arm, his back, you know, when the enemy that you won't carry the arm in the back and stuff, looks like that. I also like the design of the character. I don't know if the character appears in the second Gunvolt game, which I never played it. I'm waiting for them to release it on the PC. I don't even know if they released it burst on PC. Now that I think about that, I don't know. But depending on the sales on the game, I actually buy on PC, kind of like as a support when it's a discount, because they know that I'm not going to play. The Neptune series, for example, I never played any of them from the beginning to end, but I have every single one of them. Maybe the VR one, but I think I have every single other one of them. And Senna Kagura, I just don't have the last one, the Peach Splash, which I have on the PlayStation 4. Which is weird, because I haven't played it yet. I bought this in Devil May Cry, it's probably going to do that next. So anyways, bye bye.